G'day guys, and welcome to my video today on productivity. Now, this is a key area for business owners that is super important to be getting right because there is only so many hours in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. And if we can be more effective with that time, we can get more done. And a really key point for this is not just getting more done, but getting more done in a shorter amount of time so that you have time for the important things in life. Now, funnily enough, as I was preparing to film this video, I spent a solid 45 minutes productively procrastinating. It was ridiculous. I'm preparing for a video to talk about actually how to be more productive, and yet I still fell into that trap. And so we all do it most of the time, all right? I'll put my hand up and say that I am definitely not perfect at this, but what we're going to talk through today are how we can actually get better at being more productive. Now, before we go any further, please do like and subscribe. It helps us to reach more people, to help more people, and to make a bigger impact. And if you haven't already, you'll see just down below, I'll leave the link there for you. Assess your clinic. If you are a healthcare clinic owner and you're looking for the best way to understand what are the opportunities to grow your clinic, to hit your goals, this could be exactly what you need. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, in the background, I've got a few notes here. So if you see me looking down, I am looking at my notes. I don't want to miss anything. And I've prepared, hopefully, really well for this one. So what I'd like you to do to start with is I want you to rate yourself 1 to 10, how good you are at each of these 10 areas. I believe I've got 10 down. Let me count them. 10, yes. So you're going to have a score out of 100 at the end of this. So first one, out of 10. Set clear goals. 1 to 10, 10 being I set the clearest, most specific goals. 1 to 10. Plan your days. How well are your days planned out? 1 to 10 again. Eliminate time wasters. Okay? 1 to 10. How good are you at eliminating time wasters? Delegating and outsourcing. I used to be terrible at this. 1 to 10. How good are you at this? Using time blocking, so putting things in the diary and actually time blocking it in. 1 to 10, where do you sit? Practice the 80-20 rule, okay? Utilize technology. For each of these, just put down that 1, that 10. Also, you can't pick 7. 7 sort of sits on the fence. Often people, they don't go 5. They don't go 5 because it sounds really bad. If you don't think you're that good at it, be like, I kind of do it 7. It's either an 8 or a 6, and don't go any 0.5s on me, okay? Only whole numbers, integers. Optimize your environment, 1 to 10. Batching similar tasks together, 1 to 10 again. Taking regular scheduled breaks, 1 to 10. And please, drum roll, please. Take a moment, add those up for me. You should have a score out of 100 for how well you feel you did on each of these. Sorry, you have a score of 100 overall, and then you better look at these individual areas. Now, anything that's under a 9 has a lot of room for improvement, I would say. Okay, if you put something as a 9 or a 10, you feel like you're pretty damn good at this. And the question we're going to ask ourselves is, how good are we at this? And there are going to be things that sit under that 8. So let's have a look at these. So if we start with the first one, setting clear goals, we want to make sure that we're nailing down short-term and long-term goals. We want to have a crystal clear focus of where we want to be. And one thing you can do for this is think, where do I want to be in 3 years' time? Okay, put that down first. Then go in 12 months' time, where do I need to be to make sure I'm on track to be there in 3 years' time? Then once you've got the 12-month goal, then go, all right, in 90 days, if I'm on track to hit my 12-month goal, where am I sitting? And then breaking that down and then going each week, what do I need to do in order to be in 90 days at this goal? When you break it down like that, it gets so much easier. It's very hard to go the other way. Start 3 years, 12 months, 90 days this week. If you do that, my friends, planning, goal setting becomes a whole lot easier. Now, next up, we said plan your days. So crafting a daily schedule or to-do list that maps out your days, your activities, and the important things. So one thing that I do here is on a Sunday, I map out the key actions that I need to do this week and the key goals that I need to achieve. And then I go, what are the highest priority actions? What are the things that move the needle the most? Not what do I enjoy doing the most? What are the things that move the needle the most? And I make sure that I prioritize those earlier in the day. So I'm doing the things first that are most impactful. I'm not doing the things first that I like doing. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not. But otherwise, I can get to the end of the day and I've been really busy, been really productive, but I actually haven't done the important things. I'm actually not helping the business to grow and make an impact. And you may have felt this too. Eliminating time wasters. See, this thing right here, we call this is a time waster, right? There's lots of time wasters. Try and get rid of them when you're working. That thing, when I'm doing a solid block of work, it's not even in the same room. It's on airplane mode. It's in another room and it's in a drawer. Now, it's not just because I can't be trusted not to check Instagram, especially now we've got Instagram threads. This thing it's so addictive, right? It's so addictive. But it's just the fact of if you remove distractions, you're less likely to become distracted. Something that I learned from Atomic Habits is it's not all about willpower. Reduce the need for willpower by removing the distractions. Okay, so how can you build your environment to remove time wasters and reduce distractions? Delegating and outsourcing. So that's the next one here. Now, what you can do is you can write down at the start of the week when you have all those tasks that need doing, at the start of the day when you have, all right, I've got this whole long list. What here can be delegated or outsourced? Actually go through and go, what could be delegated and outsourced right now? What could be delegated or outsourced in the future if I create a system to get it done? And what needs to be done by me? And what doesn't need to be done at all? What can just be deleted? If you do that, you'd be surprised at just how much stuff you can take off of your plate. As business owners, we always put our hand up and say, I'm the only one that can do this. Or if you want it done right, do it yourself. Okay, but if you want to be able to get time back in your life to spend with your family, your friends, on yourself and your health and fitness, whatever it may be, you need to really nail down this skill of delegating and outsourcing. And it comes back to you and creating systems, structures, and frameworks. Next up, practice the 80-20 rule. Now, this one is obviously not exactly 80-20, right? But zero in on the vital 20% of tasks that generate 80% of the results. And that's really just learning to prioritize better, okay? And when you look at your own business, I'm sure you'll better find what are those things that move the needle the most, and what are those things that maybe you spend hours on, maybe you're doing some beautiful Canva designs that doesn't really help that much in the scheme of things and could also be delegated or outsourced to Fiverr or Upwork for really a small amount of money. Okay. And if you're a clinic owner and you spend 4 hours on Canva, right? That's 4 hours you could spend doing something else. If you were to pay someone $50 to do that for you, you could even go and see clients at probably $200 to $300 an hour. So we're looking at, what's that, $800 to $1,200 in income. Outsourcing that for $50, you'd be in a better position there. But often we don't think that way, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, if you love Canva, by the way, go for it. Just understand that maybe it's not the best use of your time. Utilize technology. So tapping into the power of project management softwares, things that can help you to streamline what you do. Now, this can be project, like we said, things like Asana, Monday, Trello, helping you to organize things, make sure you don't miss things. It can be text expander softwares. It can be video editing softwares, whatever you're using, making sure you're using the softwares that make it as easy as possible. If you're creating social media content, you're doing it on your phone for your clinic, use an app like Captions. I think 90 Australian dollars, I think it is. And it does all of the captions beautifully for you. It does the video editing now as well, intros, outros. It really is quite amazing. It can even make, if you're reading it here, what it can do is it can make you give eye contact to the camera. It's really quite cool, the AI features they're putting into it now. Okay, so look for technology that can streamline your workflow. Batch similar tasks. So if you've got a whole lot of things to do together, it makes it so much easier. So picture this. For me, I batch Slack replies, Slack the messaging software, email responses, all these things get batched together. So rather than just being email, doing something important, Slack, doing something important, Slack, and going between the two constantly and being in this constant state of flux, I get to be in flow by focusing on one thing at a time. And it also helps the people that you're working with if they know when you're going to respond to them. If sometimes you respond within 30 seconds and other times it's 2 days, it's kind of a bit all over the place. And it leaves them going, well, has he seen my message? Has he not? But if they know that every day at 9 a.m. and midday, you check Slack and you do your replies, but then they know when they message you that, hey, this is when I'm going to get the response. And for them, it's the certainty of when they're going to get the response, not the speed of response. Write that one down. That's a really important one. And taking regular breaks. There is nothing worse than just going super hard and realizing at the end of the day that you're just burnt out and you can't show up again the next day. Or the work that you've done has just slowly gotten worse and worse throughout the day. It's terrible. It doesn't feel great. It's not fantastic to be working with you. And the work that gets done, it's not beautiful work. And we want to really enjoy our work. Like, we want to love what we do. We want to be passionate. And the whole reason we got into business, or one of the reasons we got into business, was to be able to do what we love, to be able to have more control of our time, more freedom. The worst thing we can do here is just to become a slave to just burning ourselves out. So take a moment and go, where can I book regular breaks in? For me, what that looks like is every 25 minutes, I take a 5-minute break. Or I can do a 50-minute block. That's the longest I'll do in any one period. And then a 10-minute break. And then I won't go any 4-hour period without taking at least a 30-minute break. And ideally, even like a 60-minute break. And for me, I like to I live on the beach, so I'll go out and I'll walk on the beach, just get some sun, just be outside, be in nature, come back. I feel rejuvenated, refreshed, and I can get stuck into it. And honestly, I feel like I deliver even better work for the clients that I work with, for this kind of work. And honestly, that really inspires me. And this was something that I didn't realize until later in my career. And much earlier in my career, I would use hustle culture. I would hustle and grind nonstop. But all that ended up with was me struggling to wake up the next day, struggling to be motivated to do the things that I actually love to do. And that's not a really lovely place to be, right? So I hope this video has helped you to reflect on productivity and how you can improve that in your life, in your clinic, in your business. Okay? So I'd love to know in the comments below, out of 100, what did you get on this one? I think when I did this, when did I do this for the first time? Probably about 9 months ago. I scored about a 47. So not fantastic. So I'd encourage you to be honest with yourself here of how good are you at each of these things, when 1 is really, really bad and 10 is absolutely world-class. Okay, in the comments below, let me know how you go, and I will see you in the next lesson, my friends.